Zionist regime of Israel has launched renewed attacks on Iranian nuclear power plants in Natanz, Tabriz, and Shiraz. Escalating tensions between the United States and Israel in the Middle East have sent oil prices soaring by more than 10% on Friday. And in the United States, a federal judge ruled that President Donald Trump illegally deployed the National Guard in Los Angeles, calling for the return of control of the force to the governor of California. Hello and welcome to From the South. My name is Belén de los Santos. I'm from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We'll begin with the news. We now begin with the information. The Zionist regime of Israel has launched renewed attacks on Iranian nuclear power plants in Natanz, Tabriz, and Shiraz. One of the targets of the Israeli attack on the Islamic Republic of Iran was the Natanz nuclear facility in Isfahan, in the center of the country. The attack caused significant damage to several areas of the nuclear plant. Radiation levels and the safety of the agency's inspectors are currently being monitored. Considered the most important facility in Iran, it has been the target of multiple attacks and cyber attacks in the past. Against this backdrop, Deputy Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi called on the International Atomic Energy Agency to univocally condemn these attacks and aggressions. Also, in response to the recent Israeli airstrikes targeting nuclear facilities and civilian areas in Iranian territory, the Iranian mission to the United Nations has called for an urgent meeting of the Security Council. The document emphasizes the urgent need for the Council to convene and adopt a robust position against Israel's aggressive actions. It highlights that Israel has carried out unauthorized aerial bombardments against Iran's nuclear infrastructure, as well as its military and civilian facilities. Such actions constitute a flagrant breach of the United Nations Charter and international law, jeopardizing regional and global stability. Also in this context, the Iranian government has launched more than 100 drones in recent hours in response to the Israeli aggression. Minutes before the official statement, the Iranian Defense Ministry published a post on the social network X with the expression "see you soon." Later, the spokesman for the Israeli forces, Brigadier General Efi Defrin, confirmed intelligence reports of at least 100 drones heading for the territory. From Tehran, senior military commanders and members of the executive have ratified the signal from the Supreme Authority who authorized the retaliation, and the spokesman for the General Staff of the Persian Armed Forces, Abolfazl Sherkarchi, confirmed that it will be a very severe slap. In the Israeli attacks have reportedly left 78 people dead and 329 injured, among them top officials and scientists related to the Iranian nuclear program. Also, following the offensive against Iran, the Zionist regime of Israel declared a state of emergency throughout its territory and confirmed the total closure of its airspace. The Israeli defense minister indicated that this measure is due to the expectation of a counterattack by Tehran. In addition, on Friday, the Zionist regime shut down its embassies around the world and has urged citizens to stay alert and not display Israeli symbols in public places. According to news agencies, the statement said that Israel would not be providing consular services.
We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's
And the Iranian Foreign Ministry warned that the United States is also responsible for the dangerous consequences of Israel's adventurism. The attack, defined as an attack against the nuclear security of the country, could not have been committed, according to the Foreign Ministry, without the coordination and permission of Washington. In this way, Iran dismisses the declarations of the United States Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who a few hours after the Zionist aggression began, assured that they had no relation or knowledge of the criminal operation. This is how the Persian executive defined it, after confirming that the chief of the Army General Staff, Mohammad Bagheri, was also martyred in the Zionist attack. And United States President Donald Trump expressed his firm commitment to defend both his country and Israel in the event that Iran decides to carry out a retaliatory attack. The U.S. leader has acknowledged being aware of the attacks, emphasizing that his country was not directly involved in the operation. In recent declarations, he stressed the importance of preventing Iran from developing nuclear weapons and expressed his desire to resume negotiations. For his part, U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio reaffirmed support for Israel, arguing that the country has the right to defend itself. The official's words reflect the U.S. government's position on the current situation. Hundreds of Iranians gathered on Friday in Tehran to rally against Israel and its recent strikes against their nation. The population took to the streets to support the governmental response to the latest Israeli drone swarms that hit some 100 targets, including nuclear facilities, and the annihilation of senior figures such as armed forces chiefs and top nuclear scientists. All protesters expressed their commitment to defend their nation at all costs. Therefore, they chanted mottos to bring those accountable to justice. Likewise, demonstrators noted that the intellectual masterminds of such aggressions were both the Netanyahu and Trump administrations. And in this context, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, through an official statement, condemned the unjustified military aggression in violation of international law perpetrated by the Israeli government against the Republic of Iran. The Venezuelan authorities expressed that this is an act of war that adds to the long record of crimes of the Netanyahu regime, whose machine of destruction acts outside any legality. The aggression constitutes an act of war, and therefore the Venezuelan government demands the immediate cessation of all hostilities by Israel, whose foreign policy has become a permanent threat to peace in West Asia and the world. For its part, China on Friday expressed its deep concern over Israeli strikes against Iran, condemning the violations of Iran's sovereignty and offering to help ease tensions.
The Chinese side is deeply concerned about Israel's attack on Iran and is deeply worried about the severe consequences that such actions might bring. The Chinese side opposes violations of Iran's sovereignty, security, and territorial integrity. We opposes escalating tensions and expanding conflicts. The sudden escalation of the regional situation does not serve the interests of any party. The Chinese side calls on relevant parties to take actions that promote regional peace and stability and to avoid further escalation of tensions. The Chinese side is willing to play a constructive role in easing the situation.
For his part, Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan also condemned the Israeli attack on Iranian territory, stating that Israel's attacks on our neighbor Iran are a blatant provocation that disregards international law. These attacks, carried out at a time when negotiations on Iran's nuclear program are intensifying and international pressure is mounting in response to inhumane actions against Gaza, demonstrate Israel's lawless mentality. The Netanyahu administration is striving to plunge our region and the entire world into disaster with its reckless, aggressive, and lawless actions. The international community must now put a stop to Israel's banditry which targets global and regional stability. Netanyahu and his network of murderers must be stopped from setting our entire region ablaze with their attacks. We reiterate today that we do not want to see any more bloodshed, destruction, and conflict in the Middle East. Meanwhile, escalating tensions between the United States and Israel in the Middle East have sent oil prices soaring by more than 10% on Friday. 2 hours after the brutal Zionist attack on military and nuclear facilities and residential neighborhoods, the prices of Brent and WTI rose to more than $72 per barrel. West Texas, also known as WTI, which is the main U.S. oil contract, traded up to 10.41% to reach $75.10 per barrel, while Brent North Sea crude reached more than $76.40 per barrel. Experts say that the tensions aggravated by the Zionist attack on Iran increased the prospects of oil supply disruption. Now we have a short break coming up, but first, remember you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and much more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. An Air India flight bound for London crashed into a medical college hostel just minutes after takeoff from Ahmedabad on Thursday, killing at least 265 people. According to police sources, of the 242 people on board, all but one were killed. The total death toll includes victims on the ground, including 3 medical students. Police have also released the list of 25 individuals who were injured on the ground at the crash site. The survivor aboard the plane has been identified as 40-year-old Bishwash Kumar Ramesh, a British national who is believed to have jumped off the plane before it made contact with the building. Authorities have not yet confirmed the cause of the crash, as rescue operations are still underway.
I feel bad that more than 200 people have died. It will be hard to sleep for the next few days at least. But at the time of the accident, we had only one aim: to save lives no matter what happens. There were many volunteers here. Some people came with bulldozers to offer help.
I feel very sad. I have never felt this sad ever in my life. The atmosphere and position of this place, it makes me feel pained. I pray to God that such a tragedy should never happen again.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi visited the site and the lone survivor of the plane crash, Bishwash Kumar Ramesh, inside a hospital. Authorities are investigating one of India's worst aviation disasters. The Indian government has launched an investigation into the fatal crash of the London-bound Air India plane that came down in a residential area in the northwestern city of Ahmedabad minutes after takeoff on Thursday. We go now to the United States, as a federal judge ruled that President Donald Trump illegally deployed the National Guard in Los Angeles, calling for the return of control of the force to the governor of California. According to Judge Charles Breyer, the president overstepped his authority by ordering the deployment of approximately 4,000 members of that military body in the city of Los Angeles after protests against immigration repression broke out. The judge thus responds to the demands of State Governor Gavin Newsom, who filed an emergency motion before the court to block the intervention of the National Guard in the raids against migrants. Meanwhile, arrests continue after 6 consecutive days of protest and a new call to mobilization. We have a second short break coming up, but before, we invite you to visit our Facebook page at teleSUR English. There you'll be able to watch our top stories, special live coverages, and much more. Follow the page and activate notifications to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break. Don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. This Friday in the Vatican City, Pope Leo XIV will preside over the Ordinary Public Constitutory to establish the dates for the canonization of 8 blessed, among them Venezuelans José Gregorio Hernández and Carmen Rendiles. The Supreme Pontiff summoned the cardinals present in Rome to participate in this meeting, in which the cause will be voted on. In addition to the 2 blessed from the Bolivarian nation, also included are Ignatius Chourala Mayolan, an Armenian from Lebanon, Peter Turot from Papua New Guinea, Vicenza Maria Poloni from Italy, and Maria Troncati, also Italian, and 2 other Italian blessed, Pier Giorgio Frassat and Bartolo Longo. The canonizations are expected to take place in mid-October. Venezuelan parliament passed the law that gives the legal framework for its entry into the International Organization for Mediation, an initiative of China as an alternative to the United Nations system where disputes can be settled respecting international law. The report with Madeleine Garcia.
Queda aprobado por mayoría calificada.
Y sonó la campana. La Asamblea Nacional aprobó por unanimidad.
And the bell rang. The National Assembly unanimously approved the law of the International Convention for Mediation, a Chinese initiative where a new legal architecture will be built to allow countries to dialogue with respect to settle any controversy in the political, economic, and social fields.
Luego de que Venezuela se incorpore a este importante organismo.
After our country joins this important organization for mediation, let's start packing our bags and get out of all those instruments that United States imperialism has supposedly mediators, defenders of human rights of what they care about. It is shameful how the High Commissioner, I don't know how tall he is. I don't know if he is tall because in terms of moral character, he should be called the Low Commissioner for the United Nations if he would not have said anything about our 252 citizens injustly kidnapped. The United Nations system has also failed to stop the genocide in Gaza. More than 70,000 dead at home, an entire population, its territory, its hospitals, its schools have disappeared, and none of these international organizations has come out to defend humanity, to defend human dignity, to defend children, doctors, journalists, bombed and disemboweled in the Gaza Strip by the criminal government of Israel. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Let us not leave this path, and let us join the International Commission for Mediation.
An
alternative to inefficiency where it seems that there are human rights la carte at the convenience of some, the most powerful, and for others human rights are used as a political weapon.
Es evidente que hay un colapso de los organismos tradicionales, Naciones Unidas, OEA.
It is evident that there is a collapse of the traditional United Nations organizations, and other organizations are collapsing in the face of the reality of the violence that has been developing in many areas up to the global level. So we hope that this initiative, this new organization that is being created today and which our country is joining, can in some way complement the efforts of the existing organizations and make a fundamental contribution to the preservation of peace.
Que el sistema de Naciones Unidas ya no puede dar garantías, ¿verdad? No puede dar garantías al sistema de naciones para la preservación de la democracia.
The United Nations system can no longer provide guarantees for the preservation of democracy, respect for the sovereignty of peoples, and the enforcement of international law. By absolute majority, we approve this law, which gives guarantees to the government to act in this intermediary instance, which is a sign of the new emerging world that opposes the dictatorship of global capitalism.
Venezuela es uno de los primeros países en crear una
The
ley
country
para
is one of the first to create a law to firmly incorporate this new international mediation body.
Madeleine García, teleSUR, Caracas, Venezuela.
And like this, we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net. Also join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok as well. For TeleSUR English, my name is Belén de los Santos. Thank you for watching.